Well, one of the greatest parts about Radio Row, which is now called Media Row.
Is that right?
Yeah, they changed it.
I don't like it.
Probably because of people like us, though.
This isn't exactly radio. There's I don't think much of what's left on Radio Row is radio anymore. Maybe they should have changed it.
Yeah, it really. Tony Bruno was walking around yesterday trying to do a poll of who was actually still a radio station.
What did he come up with? I love Tony.
He never gave us the answers, but we were talking to him for a while about it. He was really
That's funny.
But you get to see people walk by, and Kyle Brandt from the greatest football show ever in the morning. Right. Good Morning Football on NFL Network was walking by, and he's a Chicago guy.
That's right.
Stevenson represents. So we stopped him and said, hey, can you stop by? We appreciate you doing so.
Thrilled to be here. Thrilled to represent Stevenson High School, the real Patriots. NFL Connection alumnuses include myself, Rob Ryan, Rex Ryan, and unfortunately Ron Goldman. Hate to say it like that, but that's true. That's all fact.
That's awesome.
That is a great list, though. Come on, let's be honest. This is Stevenson's big time.
That's right.
Well, and now wearing a Diamondbacks jersey, which kind of hurts the Chicago heart a little.
It totally does, but I'm trying to pay homage to the region here. I'm like whenever I go to whatever the Super Bowl may be in LA or it's going to be in Vegas next year, I try to get something that represents where you are. So I was going to buy a horribly cheesy T-shirt with cacti on it or something, but the first thing I saw was this Randy Johnson Diamondbacks jersey, and I'm a big Randy Johnson guy. Who isn't? And I especially like the Diamondbacks version of him. So I'm just going to wear this all weekend. This is going to be my look.
It's good remembrance of the Diamondbacks version of Randy Johnson. That is when he killed the bird, right? I think that's when he killed the bird.
Yeah, that was the Diamondbacks thing, not Yankees. Someone confirmed that when he killed the bird and didn't think it was funny at all. Everyone's like, Randy, wasn't that crazy when you killed that bird? I don't think it was very funny.
It was hilarious.
It was unbelievably funny.
The bird just exploded.
Randy Johnson would be so offended that he killed that bird and then have 3 chicken breasts for dinner that night. Isn't that a little bit strange?
Yeah, I was about to ask something. Maybe Randy was a vegan before vegan became popular.
He's built like one, tall and thin and everything. But you're right, though. The thing about Media Row is called, it's the cool people you see, but also just the kind of random. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I'm like, oh, there's Takeo Spikes. He has the biggest neck in NFL history. That's what I'm looking at during this conversation. That's the fun of being here.
And the Old Spice deodorant mascot that just walked by.
Really?
That happens.
I didn't know. Have we met? Every year there's the guy who built the stadium out of Legos. That guy comes here. The guy who built it out of sandwiches. I love the trappings. I love the calendar girls. They may not do the calendar girls anymore, but when I started coming, they started doing it. You never know.
What's the most fun you've had this week?
Well, Christ. Last night at NFL Honors was really something. The NFL Honors, if anybody doesn't know, it's kind of the Oscars of the NFL. And just going to it, it feels like it's at being at football Comic-Con. Every single person you see feels like you're seeing Wolverine and Han Solo and Captain Picard. It's all the Hall of Famers, all the young cool players, random celebrities that have gotten shoehorned into the show so they can collect a check. It's really a trip to do it. And then especially if you're part of it, it becomes a legit acid trip.
Did you grow up diehard Bear fan?
Let me think how to answer that. As a kid, yes. So I'll lay it out for you. I was 6 years old for the 85 team, and I have vivid memories of having the record of the Super Bowl Shuffle. Not even a cassette, a miniature record.
Yeah.
And we would just wear it out. So we had wear your Bears stuff to school days that year. I remember vividly the Monday after they lost to the Dolphins that year and showing up and everyone, it was a funeral. Everyone was so sad. So I was diehard through the Payton era and the early Ditka era. Then I get to high school and it was Wanstead, little troublesome, not as much winning.
A lot troublesome.
A lot of troublesome. And then you just get into the upside down after that. I had a renaissance when everyone did with Lovey. And my single favorite memory as a Bears fan ever is I got to attend the Bears-Saints NFC title game in the snow at Soldier Field. Grossman versus Breeze, Urlacher versus Bush. Great game, great scene. Snows in the fourth quarter, and they're going to the Super Bowl. And we're going to beat the Colts. No, they didn't beat the Colts. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm really bleeping fair weather. That's what it comes to. I like the Ditka and the Lovey era.
Well, hey, at least you call it out.
I did. Listen, I was not beating the table for the Bears necessarily during the Mark Trestman era or the John Fox. I skipped over Dick Duran, too. My favorite Bears team of all time is the 01 Bears. That is the Jim Miller, Anthony Thomas, A-Train, Young Urlacher, Mike Brown. I think they went 13-3 that year and lost to the Donovan McNabb Eagles in the playoffs. But that was a Dick Duran team, and I love that team. back-to-back walk-off wins with interceptions by Mike Brown. So that's my favorite Bears team ever. And I've told Jim Miller that. I don't know if he believes me, but it is.
Kyle, what about this current Bears team? You have Justin Fields. Everything's able to do with his legs. What are kind of your thoughts about this team, where it's kind of going now?
Well, it's just like I can't believe that they have the number 1 pick. I know that's been the case for weeks now, and I still can't believe it.
We can't either.
It never happens. And they've had some terrible Bears teams in our lifetime. They never get the number 1 pick. The ball just doesn't bounce right, and then not only that they have it, but they got it in the stupidest, most ludicrous fashion of all time. And I'm watching Week 18 Texans-Colts, the worst game of the season. No one gives a crap. And it was like the Super Bowl for the Bears. And they're throwing prayers into the end zone that are being caught. And you're like, is this going to happen? Are these idiots, the Texans, actually going to win this game? What are they doing? And then there's this beautiful symmetry that it was Lovey there on the sideline doing it for them. It was a beautiful experience. And now it's like, we're hosting the party. We're doing it. Everybody come to us and pay.
Well, it's like the 3 best Bears games of the year were Week 1, the slide in the end zone at the end when they beat the 49ers.
That was fun.
The dominating the Patriots on Monday Night Football.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And then Davis Mills with his prayer in the Texans. We're counting that as a Bears game now.
I think Davis Mills has the biggest Bears win in a few years.
Yeah, right?
Like since the Nagy double doink season, it was really clutch. And now it's like, all right, what do you got? You want a number 1? Pay through the bleeping teeth. We want it all. Everything not nailed down, give it to us. I just wonder, like, is there a possibility they just decide to fall in love with a player that's not a quarterback? Because we're not really to draft season yet. But this doesn't seem to be the, like, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, that, like, oh, my God, that freakish defensive player that we have to have. I don't feel like he's out there. So you better not draft a bleeping quarterback, and I don't think they're doing that. And I think it's just like, who wants it the most? Pay.
If it was Ryan Pace drafting, he would have some conviction on somebody and they wouldn't deal it. So I think Poles is definitely going the other way. You wake up every morning and you talk football. Like, was that the dream job? It couldn't have even been the dream job for you. This is your life moment. Like, do you have a picture? Like, how does this happen? Like, when you think about your journey to get to that point and just doing it.
Well, my dream job was to play football. I think I have like the little art project that we all did when we were in 4th grade. And favorite food, favorite TV show. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like running back for Bears. Like that was the thing. Wildly undertalented for that. I learned that like in late high school when the recruiting letters started drying up. I'm like, well, the Big Tens aren't really calling. So I realized that. And then just like a lot of us, I'm supposed to say, well, when you realized you couldn't play anymore, you wanted to talk football. That wasn't me. I had wild left-turn deviations into MTV reality shows and soap operas, and then I finally found my way back to sports through Jim Rome, who I worked with for a long time. And I worked off-camera, like for 8 or 9 years, just writing and producing, no on-camera presence until the very end of it. And I loved it because I just – listen, I was coming off a job on 3.5 years on Days of Our Lives where I would – be paid to take my shirt off. It was meat market, like ridiculous. My mom was like, why did you go to college if you're going to do this? So I think going to Rome after that was like, has nothing to do with like how I look or how many ab exercises I've done or all that disgusting stuff. It was just like, I'm going to give you some takes on Kobe Bryant and let's see if you like them. And then for a while he did.
And Kyle, now your camera presence is obviously known, and you just presented the Angry Runs of the Year last night. Yeah. What was that moment like for you, man?
So strange. It's so strange. And it's stranger for reasons that I didn't even anticipate. So in 10 seconds, I scream and hoot and holler about really the most physically dominant runs every week, and it's someone getting stiff-armed into the core of the earth or decleated. It's fun. It's like football that used to be. Like there's still a physicality in football, even though like they're reducing it greatly. So it's already enough to go up there and scream about stiff arms and stuff like that. I'm standing on the side of the stage, not knowing what is going to happen in the show or what the content is in the show. And as I'm standing on the side stage, I notice there's a large crowd of people that walk by me, and they're all surrounding this one person in the middle. And I'm like, who is that? Who is that? And I go, oh, my God, that's Damar Hamlin. What's he doing back here?
Wow.
The act before Angry Runs was Damar Hamlin and the entire Buffalo Bills medical staff who saved his life and maybe saved football, going on the stage, getting a standing ovation. Roger Goodell is crying. There's not a dry eye in the house. And they're like, this is a beautiful thing. And Damar Hamlin says, I want to thank God. He's the reason I'm here right now. And everyone cries and claps, and they walk off stage. Next up, Kyle Brandt with Angry Runs. And I'm like,
quite a pivot.
Oh, man. I didn't know this was it. And I got to go out there and start screaming and making Mario Kart jokes or whatever I'm doing. And I had no choice. It's a live show. I just ran out there and did it. And it was 2.5 minutes of just hysteria and just the faces that flashed in front of my eyes as I'm doing it. Meek Mill, Kurt Warner, Jared Goff, Tracy Morgan. I'm like, where am I? If I died? It was an unbelievable thing, but I got through it, and I was thrilled to do it.
You should celebrate that you're in that. You're in that crew,
That's
brother.
Cool. Thank you, dude.
I mean,
I do celebrate it.
The only thing that I could reference as when I was in a piano recital at 9 years old, and there was this amazing performance right before me. They're going, I mean, literally standing ovation for this 9-year-old. She was incredible. And then I'm walking up next to play Mary Had a Little Lamb.
That's such a good comparison. This kid's banging out Tchaikovsky, and you got hot cross buns, and you got your little suit on.
All right, and then my family in the back.
Yay!
Way to go, Carm.
That was incredible. But imagine if that 9-year-old kid who played Tchaikovsky had cardiac arrest at his piano recital prior and had to be resuscitated, and the whole world saw it.
Right. Throw that in there, too. Yeah.
It was a lot. It was really a lot. Oh, my gosh.
We wouldn't have gotten Kyle, by the way, to sit down. That's not exactly true. But you got excited to sit down because you liked our gear.
I love gear.
CHGO Locker.
We'll get you some.
I'm sitting there like, you guys are like, will you come on? I'm like, yeah, let me try to make the schedule work. But more importantly, I'm demanding where can I get those shirts.
Yeah,
I'm pulling up the website. I want them. I love them. Tell me more about them and tell the people where they can get these shirts.
CHGOLocker.com, damn it. That's where you go.
We're sending a shipment to you.
CHGOLocker.com, damn it. That's where you go. Put that on a
.com.
.com. That's exactly right.
Thanks so much, Kyle, for being here.
I'm thrilled to do it and love to see you guys, and thanks for having me.